This is Adam Green from Miami Valley School, and I'm going to talk about my experiences on Peaceful Warrior Immersion this year. So, something I want to leave behind from immersion is my attachment to my thoughts and my mind, which throughout most of my life have been leading the show and determining my values and what actions I take. Ever since elementary school, I've been known as that smart kid. And my peers, my teachers, they showered me with praise and they said, "Oh, you're so smart," and I became really identified and attached to my mental skills, and it became a part of who I am. And throughout more and more success, my ego, which is attached to this sense of pride and doing well in school, got bigger and bigger. And at the same time, on the social and emotional front, I was a mess. I had trouble in social situations, making friends, bad social anxiety. I hated being around large groups of people, and all because, I believe, of this attachment to my own thoughts and not really dedicating any time to doing other things with my life. So what immersion has shown me and allowed me to do is to step back for a moment from the stress of this day-to-day life of school, when we typically don't have any time to reflect on or ask why we're doing this experience or why we're doing these things. And it's given me a chance to look at myself and my own identity in a more objective manner. So at times this meant disassociating myself from who I am, from my ego, so I could really get back to myself. And our group went about doing this by getting back in our bodies and doing a variety of physical activities like martial arts, working out, archery, and meditation. And these activities were all helpful in the way that they got us out of our heads and back into our direct experience, our bodies, the sensations we felt, our true self, and connect with that and that greater universal energy we all share, and connect with each other, as well as change the way we perceive these things in our lives and the experiences and feelings we have. So during meditation, for example, rather than trying to move away from pain, we sat into it and didn't think of it as a bad or a good thing, but just as there. It was neutral. It allowed us to explore the sensations of our body and being mindful in how you perceive things and what sort of bias or preconceptions you come in with. And if possible, taking action in accordance with how one of the 5 elements we talked about would do something. So earth, wind, water, fire, these elements we learned about in Toshindo as well as void, and thinking about how can I perceive things like pain or stress in my life in accordance with one of those different elements. So that's one of the big things I want to continue after immersion and bring into my own life, being mindful of where my feelings come from, anxiety, sadness, fear, happiness, and being able to surrender to them at times, to feel them out, and at other times to proceed in a certain fashion, whether it be in a very earthy, grounded fashion, or a watery, maybe sort of defensive, strategic fashion, fiery and passionate, or wind and very flowing and open to any experience. As well as something I thought of was the 3 parts of the body, the head, the heart, and the gut, coming from a different way like that. So I could have my gut, my instinct, that animalistic power center, the lower pelvic floor, the lower dantian in the physical sense, or from the heart, which is softening. It's that empathy, the compassion and connection to other people. And finally, it could come from my head, the very analytical, targeted approach, the neocortex up in your brain, and how I was, for most of my life, living in my brain. And the physical practices I've implemented into my own life to work in this mindfulness have been daily meditation and appreciation, and getting outdoors more, which we learned a lot about during this immersion. And even though it may be a bit chilly outside, I think these experiences are very valuable of getting outdoors, and I hope to maybe mess around with some more archery if possible, as well as try to be mindful in everything I do, fully conscious, fully awake, and fully alive.